Hello, everyone. I'm going to watch Flight of the Intruder from 1991. And I never really watched this movie in its completion. I've seen it more than a few times in passing when it was on TBS, Turner Broadcasting, back in the early aughts. It was one of the movies they used to have on rotation. And I never really cared for it, to be honest with you. It was just, I don't know. I just, because I couldn't get into it. I couldn't get into it. I know that's an insult to some people, but you know, if your feelings are that easily hurt, you got bigger problems than my opinions. So I decided that, I was trying to find this on Amazon, but of course I don't have money. You know why? Because I can't get work. You know why I can't get work? It's because I discipline people. I discipline them. When someone was giving me a raw deal, I let them know that they were giving me a raw deal. When they're being disrespectful, especially happens in the case of talent agencies, right, or headhunters. Employment agencies, and anything that you have to sign a contract in order to work. It's not like the military, but maybe it is. I don't know. So when they responded, I told them basically to fuck off because they didn't seem to understand the terrain or the people, and effectively I got bullied out of my last job. That's the way I see it. Is effectively I got bullied out of my last job, and I was probably replaced by some over-the-hill cokehead. Anyways, I got all dressed up here, so I'm wearing my graping patch. I'm all in the Swedish camo here. This technically is my uniform. You know, obviously I don't have a rank. I really do need a name tag, and this is missing some Velcro here, so that's gotta change. I'll take care of that. But anyways, we're going to talk about this after I finish this. So that's going to be like 2 hours from now. This could be considered a longer movie by today's standards. Whoa! Don't drop it. All right, welcome back. If you've happened to have watched this movie with me. That's really neat. That's really neat. You know, that's quite the novelty. You know, and all that stuff. I'm at a loss for words as to how incomprehensibly terrifying current technology can be. Yeah, let's put it like that. So, what do I think of Flight of the Intruder? Well, I think it's a good movie. There are certainly some melodramatic moments, and I don't like the ending. I never did. And when it was on TBS, like the broadcasting, I forget what channel it was. It was somewhere in the 70s up here in Canada, with Rogers Cable, and you know, the way that happens with TBS is that you could never get to see the entire movie, right? You would only get to see the movie as they cut it, depending on where they wanted to put the commercials. So you didn't get the full Monty, right? And beyond that, they also censored things in order for it to be on cable television, because we had much more conservative sensibilities at that time. I'm not so sure I could say the same thing at this point in time. So, moving on from this movie, or should I call it an operation, because that's what it actually is. Most of these movies that are produced with in association with the military are intended to be propaganda films. But this is not a negative propaganda film. I would say this is a positive propaganda film. Again, the negative is dehumanizing and demoralizing, whereas the positive is inspiring, and it's It's something more than that. And so I myself, as someone who has a tendency to produce positive propaganda, why should I complain? Moving on from this this talking point, the people or the organizations beyond the actual top of the food chain, this involved the USS Independence, and that means the entire aircraft carrier, the Pacific Missile Range Facility, Barking Sands, Attack Squadron 122, Attack Squadron 128, Attack Squadron 196, Fleet Composite Squadron 1, and the maintenance and support officers and men of the Boomers Attack Squadron 165. So, obviously, being an aircraft mechanic without his wings, I would identify more with the Attack Squadron 165 than any of you other people. This does not mean that I'm discriminatory towards you. No, really, honestly. Sometimes I feel like I'm owed a set of wings, but I'm not. I'm not owed anything. I'm not. That's the thing, is that some people think that they're entitled just because they wear a uniform, and that's something that I would like to do away with, and especially when it comes to abuses of power. And it just, I don't quite understand it, but I kind of do. And this is the benefit of having been through something like the cadet program here in Canada, or JROTC or ROTC in the United States, or one of the military schools, is that you get to see human behavior in its infancy. You witness it, you do it, and you get to be part of this entire high school musical drama. You know, as Shakespeare said, or should I say William Shatner would say, all the world is a stage. Hey, Bill. Anyway, what more can I say about this? What can I say? I like the A6, especially the TRAM, the tram, and my familiarity with that is because of War Thunder, and that's as close as I've ever been to flying one, and I think that's the closest anyone has been to flying an A6 in many years. Moving on from that, I enjoy how, again, this is just strictly speaking from a simulator experience, that I enjoy how it flies, and most of the time I would prefer an A6 over an A10. I know that's sacrilegious to some people. And when you're flying seed missions, right, with the AGM-88, as it is in War Thunder, we carry 4 of them, right? And again, you have to wait till the missile launches. Right? This is an Iron Hand mission, or yes, as we call it now, a seed mission. And I did a lot of that. Just the 4, right? No anti-air, no air-to-air missiles or anything like that. Sometimes, again, one of the other loadouts was 2 AGMs and 2 Sideliners, which was not as efficient because you couldn't quite hit as many targets before you had to turn tail and run. And you can dodge missiles, but there's things that you can't quite dodge. And may you be able to negotiate those challenges with an ease and grace not seen in decades. Again, there's what hasn't been said about this movie by this time. I found this on the internet, on another website that is similar to YouTube, that doesn't have the same reputation, and in some cases has a better reputation. So I actually tried to source this from a Russian website. You know, those good old Ruskies. Excuse me. And it wasn't a great quality, so I moved on to this website, and that's how I watched it. Again, I would have much preferred to have watched this on Amazon Prime, but again, I don't have the money. I didn't have the money for the rental. I only get one payment a month, and that's on thin ice as it is. You know, if I can't find a job within maybe the next 6 months or to a year, then that funding will probably be cut off. I'm just speaking realistically here. I'm sure this movie is, you know, held close to a lot of people's hearts, and I'm not about to insult it or to insult their sentiments. What I would rather do is do something for them. So we brought back, or it's in the process of happening, as was put through Congress, was to bring back a couple of F-14 Tomcats. Now, I don't mind the Tomcat. I hate going up against the Tomcats because of the Phoenix missiles. I think the balancing within the game of War Thunder is a little lopsided when it comes to those airplanes. There are definitely some things to change within that game that would make it more realistic, even at the arcade level. So, what can I offer for something like that, as I've offered in the past and volunteered for, and flung myself across the planet to a hostile place that just wanted to kill me, or to even take a nap in a fuel tank? I don't know if any of you have ever had the privilege of doing such a thing. It makes me think about actually the seamen that would have to go into the turrets in the wells of the ships, of the battleships, right? And they would have to lubricate the bearing plate, basically, and how ugh, holy shit, you know, you think you got a dangerous job, and then you look up, you start thinking about that, and that's something else. That's something else. And the thing about war propaganda is that some of it inspires people to masturbate, and I think that's really strange. It's really strange. Why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? Anyways, it is an amazing thing, and I'm sure this was a big fucking deal when it came out in 1991. But in 1991, I was 7 years old, and I'm sure that terrifies a lot of you out there that may happen to watch this. But don't be terrified, okay? Warfare in this day and age is very different. It's very different. It takes a little bit more than just a phantom shitter on a ship to get things done. So, moving on from this, it makes me wonder what is the next great propaganda film? That's what I'm wondering. And how will it be received? Because, you know, again, in order for a film to be any good, it has to have cultural relevancy. And I don't see many, I haven't seen anything, maybe there should be, about the conflict in the Ukraine. Maybe even the Russians will participate. Who knows? Now, that's all I'm going to say. I know I've said that's all I'm going to say more than once. But, you know, there's something about the deportment of the officers as portrayed by the actors. And I've seen hints of that culture in my own time as a young man, right? But I'm not sure it exists now. I'm really not sure, especially concerning what I just saw was a ceremony for an award. It was a medal. It was something like the DFC, right? The Distinguished Flying Cross that we give to us Canadians and other Commonwealth people. I think it was a similar level of award. And 2 F-16 pilots were awarded this medal, But one of them was reprimanded for shaving in his mustache and not being in line with the dress and deportment standards. Now, stuff like this petty bullshit, quite frankly, is the subject of ridicule for a very good reason. And that ridicule is exactly why the other pilot decided not to participate in the ceremony, and it was canceled. It was canceled for retaliation because, well, once you're out there, it's just you and the boys. There's no one else there now, is there? And the outcome is entirely upon the shoulders of the people performing it. Performing the operation, that is. So I would like to see that resolved quickly and without any discipline. I would love to see the person who wrote up that chit eat it. I would like to see him eat the paper in front of everyone. Because if we're squabbling about dress standards over recognition for distinguished service or performance in the air, then we have bigger problems than pilots. And we probably have more problems than pilots. I think that's a fair trade, don't you? I know sometimes that you might get a craving for some good old Crayolas, but I don't think that's required today. Anyways, there are people out there that can't shave. And there are people out there that shouldn't shave, because if they do, they're fucking ugly. And they look better with beards. Personally, I feel like I fall into the latter category, where when I shave, I scare the shit out of little children. Anyways, thank you for watching this review, and I hope you enjoyed Flight of the Intruder on your own time. And we'll do this again. Maybe somewhere else. Maybe on an aircraft carrier. I don't know. But I ain't bullshitting you. I ain't bullshitting anyone. I hope that shines through. I hope that shines through everything. Because there will always be people out there that just want to see you fail.